Hack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Monster Energy, eSport Management, Windows 10, Omen by HP, and GGBet.
In glorious, beautiful Rotterdam in the Netherlands. And this is the Ahoy Arena. It is DreamHack Rotterdam, and this is the DreamHack Open. Before the break, Heroic booked their place in the final above fours. And now we need to find out who they will be facing there. Is it going to be Avanagar or is it going to be Crazy? My name is Frankie Ward. I am your desk host here this weekend, and to my left I have the fabulous analysts Potter and Blair. Were you surprised by that result, Blair?
Not really. We did say it was going to be a Heroic Avanagar final, but looking at the way the boys over from Force were playing, I was like, it was a very 50-50 game, right? And I just wanted to make things a little interesting with me going with Force, but I wouldn't have been surprised either way. If it was a Force Avanagar rematch, it would have been a rematch of the Blast Pro finals. If it was going to be Heroic and Avanagar, which is still what I'm predicting it to be, it's still going to be a banger of a game.
West meets East, maybe.
West meets East, indeed. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this next semifinal with Avanagar coming up. I mean, we saw them playing on the first day, and I'm curious to see if they've been working on their individual plays, such as, because Avanagar are a team that's very much known for their teamwork, and it's sometimes can come and bite them in the butt because they're so ride or die. They're so ride or die for each other. They're very much willing to die for each other. So more often than not, it does pay off, though.
It is a little uncharacteristic for a CIS team to play that style, isn't it? Right? It's a very different style, but then again, they do have certain set pieces and certain approaches where it's so cool to see, like such correct counter-strike, but at times, like Potter mentioned, when the chips are down and things are looking a little rough, you want to throw in a curveball, and that's when they kind of sometimes fall apart here. But you know what the problem with Avanagar is, at least on paper, based on the performances, major finalists, winners of Blast from Moscow, they should be the favorites here, right? But so far, they haven't really been tested. 16-2 against Besiktas, and then 16-4 in a close match against Heroic. That's the only two games we've seen from them. On the other hand, if you look at Crazy, it's been ups and downs. But it's been a little bit more ups than downs.
Well, we're going to talk about those ups and downs very shortly, because I want to hand over to Potter now, because you've got some 3 reasons for us.
Yes, so these are the 3 reasons why this is going to be a must-watch semifinal coming up. And with reason number 1, I spoke about it a little bit before, it is Avanagar's teamwork. I think any team, any CS players out there watching this match that want to learn how to play properly, how to play for each other, how to play for the win for your team, should be watching this semifinal and should be studying this Avanagar team. And with reason number 2, it is Ships. This young man has come out throughout this entire weekend and has been busting out the AWP, busting out the rifle, and showing us exactly how game sense can help him win rounds. And with reason number 3, it's Jame time, baby.
How many times has Jame time been in the 3 reasons now? I feel like across the Opens that Avanagar have been in.
It deserves it.
He deserves it, yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to see him perform again. It's going to be the AWP battle of Mr. Jame, in-game leader as well. But I just want to point out, Kickert has been really stepping up so far. Only 2 best of ones, I'm sorry, but he has been by far the best player on that side. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a battle of very different styles, a new team, and a team who are looking to kind of cement a legacy of being potentially at least the 2nd best CIS team we have right now.
Well, where are they going to be doing battle, Blair? What maps are we expecting?
This one's a little bit of, it's going to be a little interesting here. I don't see Overpass coming out, obviously, after Crazy should have watched the way Avanagar played Overpass, so that's not going to be coming out here. Avanagar's going to go for the nuke ban. Apart from that, I think it's kind of wide open. Dust2 should be picked by Avanagar here, Potter, if I'm not very much mistaken. For Crazy, it might go the way of a Mirage, or if they're feeling a little, a little crazy, might go for a Vertigo as well. I'm
curious to see if we're going to see a Vertigo.
I really expect for Crazy to potentially take it to map number 3. They might want to go with a little bit of a gimmicky pick. And when I say gimmicky, if they've done their homework, it is a map that can work out for them. So Overpass Nuke, the usual suspects getting banned out here. Avanagar should go with Dust2. They are obviously, their best map and also a map they're very comfortable on. And for Crazy, that's what I'm curious about. Vertigo, it could even be a Mirage popping out. That's a map where, players like Esperanto, players like Ships can run wild.
Okay. We're waiting with bated breath. I want to see some Vertigo, though. We're not going to see it, are we?
There we go. Now, yeah, without Vertigo getting picked first in the second phase, Avanagar is going to ban it out. Actually, no, Crazy banning it out. That's interesting.
Okay.
Which is fair enough. I mean, and it's going to be Inferno, a map both the teams are very, very comfortable on. It's kind of like the middle of the pack map, so we might go all the way here, map number 3.
Do you think that Crazy are going to be panicking a little bit? Because Dust 2 yesterday, yes, they won against Havu, but they didn't always look that comfortable, Potter.
You know, I feel like if I'm Crazy, and I think evidence shows within this tournament, every team that's had to claw their way out of these close, tough matches have come in the next day and have had the cojones to re-pick it. And it's just a testament to their team cohesion and learning from their mistakes. And so I think Crazy are going to come in confident on their Dust 2.
Yeah, they should be coming in confident. And bear in mind, if you look at Crazy, one doubt we all had going to this tournament was with the new lineup changes taking place, do they have the firepower? I have no doubt they have the firepower. Emmy has been consistent fragger. I think he's the 3rd top fragger in that team. As an in-game leader, as an ex-coach, that's impressive indeed. Ships has been just a pure revelation indeed, right? Then you have, of course, Letney, who's had his moments. You have Esperanto, who had a great series yesterday. And of course, who I'm missing out? I'm missing out a really big name over
Otto.
here. Otto, obviously, with the off. He's been a little inconsistent, but if he shows up, and especially in a map like Dust 2 with a big green zoom banger, they can really go toe-to-toe against Avanagar.
They definitely did, and Ships was the shining light on that Dust 2. You mentioned that Otto was a little bit inconsistent. He was a little bit absent, which is surprising because Dust 2 is very much a hugely open map.
It could be because he was playing against his fellow Finns.
Yeah, you know, that Finnish rivalry, definitely indeed. But yeah, I'm definitely looking towards Ships. As you mentioned, this young guy, his aim, his precision, and his aggression. Dust 2 yesterday, he was jumping into CT spawn and just going for more, consistently pushing forward. And Crazy are able to rally behind that.
Well, you guys have heard us talking about these teams all weekend, but let's hear what they think and hear what they feel about being in these semi-finals.
Bust are going to be making a move through the smoke. No, decides better of it. Does put the first player crossing. Nail stabbing down. It's all down to the battle of the Orpers. But it's going to be Buster missing the shot. And the whip on the USP connects the headshot with 2 HP remaining of his own.
We don't have any pressure. We're just confident on our game, and we're just going to do our job and see what happens.
Comes back in, gives himself away, caught throwing grenades, looks the wrong way. Esperanto, that bomb finally on the cross. Oh, but Esperanto's going to take it into his own hands. He moves forward. He doesn't wait around.
Yeah, it was a difficult group for us, but we got through. That's the most important thing. Avanagar are the favourites, we know that, but the guys have always had close games against them, so yeah, I'm confident we can take the win.
I think it's going to be a crazy game, and I want to play versus them, and I want to play a really good match. I hope they will be prepared for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think our individual skill is on point compared to them. Obviously, their run in the last 3 months has been unbelievable. Basically, I'm not scared of them. We're not scared of them.
Avanagar knows this feeling all too well. Pushed on top of the wall. Jane comes in with a crushing kill.
Otto getting back into cover. Miraculous lineup from Esperanto.
Coming into the game against Avanagar, we just need to bring our A games, and there's only going to be one result in the game, and that's us going into that final and taking that trophy.
I feel excited to play, and I want to play just more and more.
We have to point out a couple of things after that video. The first one is Sanji making a fantastic pun. It's going to be a crazy match. The second one is Neil saying that Crazy are individually more skilled than Avanagar. And actually looking at this lineup of Avanagar right now, I'm going to disagree with him.
Actually, no, I'm going to agree with good old Neil over here. Firstly, I hope all TOs have insurance for their headsets, because I think it's broken at least a dozen this year already, right? But all jokes aside, I agree with him. I did mention that Crazy, if you look at it individually, Emmy and Ships were the question marks coming into this, and Ships is, like I said, he's coming to his own. Letney, we know what he can do. Otto can be super good, but the problem is again the inconsistency. But if all 5 of them show up over here, Avanagar are not going to have to rely on firepower. They're going to have to rely on their synergy. Whatever has got them to a major final, it's going to be about teamwork, synergy, their execute, and being an overall better team. But if they try to go for duels, if they try to just go mano a mano and try to go for those quick trades and whatnot, I think Crazy's going to come out on top.
Christine, do you agree? Because nope, still not convinced by that, Blair.
I gotta disagree with that one. I do believe that Avanagar do have the superior teamwork. They are certainly a well-oiled machine, and Crazy's skill ceiling may be a little bit higher, but all Crazy has shown us is inconsistency. I haven't seen all 5 members on Crazy showing up at the same time, whereas Avanagar have each other to fall back on if each other don't show up. And this man on your screen right here, Buster, all the players on Avanagar believe he is the best player on their team. They ride or die with this man, and of course, Adren. I think Adren's addition to this team over the past summer has been so instrumental for this team's success, specifically for a player like Sanji. I think earlier in the year, Sanji had come out a very quiet player, and we could see that his mechanics were superior, far superior. However, he was a little bit quiet in that server, and I think over the past summer, since Adren's addition, he's been becoming more and more explosive.
And it's kind of interesting to see this particular trend we see nowadays, where earlier it used to be like you pick up a veteran player like 27, 28, 29-year-old guy who's going to be in-game leader. Nowadays we see a trend of young in-game leaders, but they have a veteran in the team, like an Adren, to kind of talk things in between. We saw this in the heroic game where Caden's not calling, but when they were taking attack timeout, Frankie, you pointed this one out, good eyes from you, where Caden was talking more than it was snappy. So sometimes you have these veteran players who come in and who add an extra layer of their maturity and sometimes just calming things down when things get a little heated. So yeah, I agree with you. Like, all things considered, the synergy between the team is much better than Crazy, but I'm still going to disagree with the fact that Crazy are more explosive, and they're just so fun to watch.
Well, let's talk more about Crazy, because otherwise I'm going to start arguing with you guys. Shift and Esperanto. Yesterday we saw Esperanto step up into one of those 2-star player roles vacated by Hunter and Nexa Potter.
Esperanto, you know what? When I watch him play, I'm just excited. I think his aim precision, it doesn't happen very often is the issue, but when it does, he is consistently 2-tapping people with that M4A1S, which has a slower fire rate, slower armor penetration. So the precision that he has to have is so precise, and it's beautiful to watch. The problem is that we don't see it enough, but if he performs here today as he did last night, it's certainly going to be a game on.
I mean, using the M4A1, you're basically handicapping yourself and still being good with it. That's pretty cool. I agree with you, absolutely. Esperanto, I think he's a player who's kind of disappointed me, where when he really came out in the scene, everyone's like, this guy's a star. He's a star just in waiting. And we see glimpses of that. He's so damn good, but it's just that lack of consistency. And I think that's the same thing we could be said about every player in Crazy, to be honest, apart from Ships. He has been obviously like basically a rock for the team, right? And where everyone kind of like revolves around him. But we just need a couple of these guys really stepping it up. Esperanto having the game he had yesterday, having it today, would definitely help matters out. And of course, Otto being a little bit more consistent. And that could potentially be the win condition they have here.
Well, let's take a look at the predictions from you guys, in fact, because unfortunately we haven't got time to look at Twitch chat's predictions. So, Potter, I'm going to come to you first.
This is going to be a tough one. I'm going to have to go with Avanagar. I think teamwork is the dream work, and I think Avanagar is going to take this one.
I am going to agree with you this time, for a change, Potter.
Hey!
There we go.
This is too cute for me. I'm also saying Avanagar. Rotterdam, what are you thinking? Are you thinking it's Avanagar?
They don't like the CIS team, do they?
A little bit slow to warm up. Okay, then, of course, the opponent's Crazy!
There we go.
All right, then, the audience is saying Crazy. I am saying Avanagar. I do have a little bit of news for you. Unfortunately, our lovely friend Dust is feeling a bit under the weather, but not so bad news, because Potter is going to be taking off her headset. She's going to be making a switcheroo to go and join Vince in the casting booth.
Run.
So if you'd like to make your way over there, Potter.
Hello.
Hi.
And there we go. Hello, Vince. How are you doing? Potter's just going to run in. I wish we could beam her in, but we didn't have the budget.
Yes, we don't quite have that technology just yet, unfortunately, but she'll be here in a matter of moments.
She will be indeed. She's just getting a quick touch-up on her face. So I want your prediction while we wait, Vince.
I think it's hard to go against Avanagar. You know, they're in fine form, incredible players, but I could see it going to 3 maps. There she is.
You know what, Vince? This is a little hill I'm dying on right now, but I literally do not care. Do you think that the skill ceiling of Crazy is higher than that of Avanagar?
It's really difficult, but I'd probably say yes.
Fine.
There we go, my man.
Guys, you know what? Fine. I'm done. Bye.
Right, go.
See you after the match.
Well, hello there.
Hi, Vince.
It's good to have you on board.
I'm happy to be here. It's unfortunate about Dust, but I'm excited to see what this match unfolds for us.
It should be a good one. I was looking forward to this game. Obviously, Avanagar, CR4ZY, under different circumstances, had CR4ZY have kept their, the full roster, their star players. This could have been a banging matchup, but I still think they can go toe-to-toe with Avanagar.
Absolutely. I mean, the crazy skill ceiling is absolutely up there. And I mean, Ships, I think the whole story this weekend has been the story of Ships and Stavin. These two young players coming into this open and just blowing all of our minds, really.
Yeah, it certainly has been a tournament where some of the underdogs, some of the teams you don't expect to go very far, the likes of Havu, have really turned a lot of heads and made a lot of fans out of us. But Mirage is first up to the plate. We're gonna have to see which of these two teams can pick it up. It is CR4ZY's map choice, of course. And Avanagar will be starting on the CT side as a result. Smoke picked up on the side of Kickert. Otto with a smoke alongside Emmy. And it looks like they could be positioning for a pretty fast play.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a standard A-take here. 2 smokes already thrown out, and CR4ZY are just going to follow through with those flashes and try to make these quick trades happen.
Adren push to the back of triple box, but he's not going to be called upon just yet. Otto with 2 P250 headshots. Sanji is going to come back with 2 of his own. Player down in Sandwich. They have stalled this push momentarily, but now the explosion comes in again. Sanji is going to be sent out reeling alongside James. This is where that individual skill starts to come to the forefront. In the pistols, there's not much to hide behind. Buster stuck in Palace.
And Otto already that P250 drop paying huge dividends for himself. And Buster's going to be making this quick flank. It looks like he's going to have the jump, the surprise, but Esperanto is in a position to punish him. Oh, and a beautiful shot from Buster now in a 1 versus 2 scenario, and the bomb has not been planted yet.
That's a very good point. It's still yet to be planted, but it's not required. Emmy's Glock will do the rest.
I do like the patience. Yeah, I like that patience coming out of CR4ZY. They knew exactly where Buster was going to be, and they just drawed him out, right, and just punish him. Nice clean shots, nice entries coming out of CR4ZY.
Oh, absolutely. It was really anybody's round as well, because it started off so well for Avanagar, then Otto just ripped through, as you say, the drop P250, claiming heads. But here we go, we're going to have the classic force by Avanagar with a scout in mid.
Mac 10s all across the board, and this is kind of what we expect to see, right, coming out of the CR4ZY side of things. They are very aggressive. They're known for their aggression, and it's just really going to be a matter of their discipline, making sure that they don't over-aggress here, because as you mentioned, Avanagar have force bot here. They've put everything. They've spent majority of their economy into this round.
Absolutely, this could backfire horribly on the CT side. Ships in the meanwhile, though, around the corner. You highlighted him as one of the youngsters and has had some very big performances. Mac 10 at this range should rip through heads, but the 5-7 is no slouch either. Just both bobbing back and forward.
Just bobbing and weaving, trying to bait out some shots, and just an intelligent play coming out of Ships. I mean, he's so smart. He's just going to fall back. He knows he's low here, but the power in numbers coming out from CR4ZY's side. Make sure that they come out on top of that trade. And James, he's in a tough situation here, but of course, he does get one more kill to follow through with that scout.
Tried the cheeky jump shot as well. At one point that may have connected. That's no longer the case. And the force buy has not paid off. But as you say, they did get a lot of carnage. They got a lot of kills in the process. So at least the T's economy isn't spiraling out of control.
They did, but we have to remember Avanagar have all those SMGs. They're just building up their money, and they're going to have one more round here to build up some more. And I expect Otto to try to go out and scout some things out, be a little bit more forward, be very aggressive here, and just feed information over to his CR4ZY teammates.
Now they'd have to be crazy to lose this round against 2 Deagles and a smoke. Bomb still dropped back towards the T side of mid. Bit of scouting coming into play. Smoke down. Adren tries to just spot if a T is overextending. It's not going to be the case.
No, certainly not now. And it looks like Otto is going to be trying to scout out towards that cat. Nice Molotov from Emmy to push Buster back and give Otto a little bit of space to clear out this ladder room. It's all going to come down to Adren and his deagle. Let's see if it pays off for him. And it does not. Otto, nice movement. Got a little lucky jumping off of that ladder, but you know what? It does pay off.
Well, the Deagle at this kind of range from Buster is going to be able to sort of penetrate some of these players. The insta-1D round the corner. Actually, not from Buster. It was Kickert that has his back covered. But this is where the SGs at range are going to start to deliver some fatal blows. The bomb's down in connector, though, here.
Bomb is down, and that smoke that's CR4ZY through might come back and bite them in the butt here, and Kickert. It's all going to come down to timing, and he does perfect it. takes out Emmy, and now all of a sudden he finds himself in a 1 versus 2 scenario. Crazy know exactly where he is, and if Ships, of course Ships isn't gonna miss that. I was gonna say if he over-aggresses here and turns it into a 1v1, it could get a little dicey, but it's Ships. He's got that aim to back him up.
Yeah, the Bulgarian beast is not going to miss out on those chances. And he's had a bit of a strange one. It's a conversation I had with Dust a couple of days ago that he was in Gamer Legion not that long ago, was kind of filling in for those guys, and he's bounced around quite a bit around multiple teams. Hopefully he's found a home finally.
I think he absolutely has. I mean, he's been able to really shine on this crazy lineup so far, and it Ships once again in a forward position. I don't think Buster caught him in this position, and he's certainly not going to expect it this early on into the round. Or is he? Ships' patience. Let's see if it pays off for him here. I don't think Buster has any clue.
Oh, neither does Kickert. That suggests the call didn't come through about ladder. Has been Molotoved off Buster, but meanwhile the terrorists are making a move over on the A side of the map.
Exactly, they're going to try to go towards that A side because Ships is going to be able to cut off all rotations going back towards that A. If you notice, Avanagar have stacked heavily towards that B bomb site, and Ships is in such an optimal position. I believe he's going to wait for the crazy members to gain a little bit of contact before he peeks, but he is in a very advantageous position, and there he is with a nice clean headshot onto James. And once again, Avanagar are at a disadvantage here. Crazy already up 3-0. And Avanagar, they're going to have to think about saving here.
Maybe some exit frags before the save comes in. That could be an AK trading hands, but Sanji decides to place the smoke down just in case there's a second player behind, which is the case. Esperanto was a second player in. Meanwhile, that bomb ticking away.
And Avanagar's goal here is just going to be able to survive and try to take out as many guns as they can, but Buster's already been punished, already out of the server so far, and it's just down to Sanji. It's just a survival game at this point, trying to make sure he saves so that into the next round, hopefully, he can make something happen for his team.
That is indeed exactly what's going to be coming up for Avanagar. Not many choices, really. Crazy have had a blistering start on their T half. Their choice of map, we're expecting big things, and so far they have delivered. Sanji save, $3,000 across the rest of the team. Here is the Ships play. And just turned at the perfect moment as James came around the corner.
Such precision coming out of Ships. Such a nice shot to hit. I mean, James, any other time there, slow peeking into that angle. That's his strength. That's exactly what James is known for. So you would think that he would be able to hit that shot, but man, Ships is just so fast. So fast indeed, and it looks like we've already got a tactical pause coming out of Avanagar's side very early on in the half, but you know, this is what I like out of Avanagar. They're very proactive with their plays. They understand what it takes to win these rounds. They're gonna, I expect to see some adjustments here, potentially towards that mid. We saw Ships very much in the forward position at that cat so early on in the round, and Avanagar weren't able to even spot him, so I think they're gonna have to try to adjust about that.
Sure, maybe be a bit more aggressive and try and get up into the face like this grenade. Does a lot of damage at the top of mids, but it's at the cost of 2 lives. Probably not able to capitalize on that anytime soon. And meanwhile, Buster going in aggressively on Palace, wasn't far off killing Ships. Looked actually like it could have been on his head. Molotov placed down to stop Buster from pushing in. Ships comes back out and is punished by Buster. So there is maybe a way back in this round after all, Potter.
Definitely. I think it's going to come down to Adren here and Kicker. Their synergy towards this lower mid connector area. I think if Adren is able to gather some info, gain some aggro, and allow an opening for Kicker, but Esperanto is so ready for that type of play. So Kicker all of a sudden finds himself in a lonesome position, but yeah, they're just going to go right up to Cat, make it into a simple B split here. And once again, Avanagar are going to have to save and try to make it into the next round with these 2 weapons.
Yeah, similar scenario to what we just witnessed beforehand with Sanji. This time it's Buster and Kickert's turn. SG, though, on the CT side is so deadly.
It really is. It's that arm pen, that first shot precision from that weapon. It seems to be very strong, and you know, it's turned the tide very much so in the last 6 months. Most maps are now becoming more T-sided favored. You know, 9-6 for the T-side seems to be the norm nowadays, Vince.
Where do you come down with the debate with the SG? Do you feel like it does need a nerf, and if so, what would you do with it?
You know, I don't think so. If there was any sort of nerf to that weapon, I believe the price change would be ideal. But I don't know that I don't know that I agree about nerfing it completely. I like the fact that it's a viable weapon, and I think it should remain as such. Maybe a price change though. Maybe make it a little bit more expensive.
I feel like that's the way I would go if there was a nerf as well.
Yeah.
But put it up by a few $100s perhaps. I would hope they wouldn't change it too much that they just end up completely neutralizing it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just really changed the whole dynamic of that T side, you know. It's made the Ts make more contact plays, take duels in spots that we're not quite used to seeing, and it's really opened up a lot of these maps for the T side of things, and so I really appreciate that gun, actually.
Me too, I suck with it, but whenever I see a pro popping heads, you can't really argue that it's a very powerful gun. Could be using some in the middle side. Smokes have been deployed. Molotovs tossed back in with HE. There's a slight gap. And Buster's going to use the aforementioned SG. Headshot.
And Buster taking advantage of his spawn, going through that window, up into that ladder room. We mentioned that Ships was able to get into a very forward position, a lot of aggression coming out of Crazy early on, and Buster utilizing his spawn, making sure that he's going to beat them there, and it definitely pays off for him.
Utility on both sides looking pretty sharp. 3 incendiaries with smokes on Avanagar. Is this going to be their first victory of Mirage? They have the advantage in terms of Otto's life being deemed forfeit. They also have ships to pivot off in Palace if they decide to go ahead with this A execute.
They definitely do, and I love the fact that Ships is in this Palace position. He's going to be able to work off of his teammates, bait and switch, and see if he can find an opening. But it does look like he's going to regroup with his team back towards that A ramp, and it's just power in numbers at this point here, Vince. I don't even know that they're going to throw any nades, potentially a flash, but the smokes, I believe they're going to hold on to them and try to just pounce on Avanagar's side and see if they can't get an opening.
Perhaps trying to catch them off guard. Smokes being deployed, but it's from the CTs. Now the Crazy lineup is trying to brute force their way through them. They've still been stalled out for quite some time. Another smoke deployed. Going to try and plant in the smoke, but Kikut's ahead of the curve. He knows exactly what's coming up. 15 seconds to go. They still need to retrieve the bomb and get it planted down. This is looking almost impossible for Crazy. Around the corner with the SG Ships. Carves out the head of Adren. They still have the bomb. Time is just too scarce. It's over.
It's already over indeed. With 2 seconds left in the round, there's just no way, and Esperanto needs to make sure he stays alive here. And he does indeed stay alive. And what a great adjustment coming out of Avanagar. Not a single member going down. And I think it really has to do with Buster making his way into that ladder room very fast in middle. Adren spraying through that smoke, intimidating Crazy, making sure that they're not going to be able to rush fast. A lot of utility damage coming into this round. A really nice adjustment coming out of Avanagar.
Took them a while, but they got there eventually. Now Crazy do have a low funds on Letney. A couple of players pretty healthy overall, but Avanagar are starting to dig into that cash that the T's had built up. Emmy straight out again, not putting any smokes before the push. That's going to cost them. Kikut and Sandwich going to devour at least 1 kill before he's traded out. But now Crazy much faster to the site.
Just a simple flash contact play. Letney and Esperanto are able to force a trade here towards middle and connector. And Crazy are at a huge advantage once more already. They've already got full jungle control, almost all of connector control. This makes Esperanto's position so vital for this round in this post-plant scenario. Esperanto, I think, is just going to wait for his teammates to gather that aggro and feed off of that. Nice, clean first kill. I don't think he's aware there's a second in connector, and he is not. Buster, nice trade up, and all of a sudden, Crazy find themselves at a disadvantage 2v3 in this retake.
And the terrifying prospect is they're both on the ramp side as well. It's a one-dimensional hold. Smoked off is Ships. He has the correct angle. Slightly off. The bomb's being defused. He can't stop it, and the Vanguard are going to get their second round. So very close, but not quite close enough. A smile on the face of Jane.
Not quite close enough. That was a little bit of a gamble play coming out of Crazy. Just a simple flash contact play out of that A ramp. And you know, they did lose the round, but they planted the bomb. They're able to buy again into this round, and they're up 5-2. So I'd say it's a decent round for them.
Absolutely, they can continue to apply that pressure. Molotov's being tossed up on mid. Esperanto flashed at the same time, eats 40% of his health as damage. And a HE could be doing more, just landing slightly too far away. Mid-control seemingly more on the cards this round, though. 4 players from Avanagar around the center of the map.
It looks like CR4ZY are really slowing things down into this round, allowing Otto to see if he can't work anything with that AWP, see if he can't find an opening for himself. You see him at that top mid, just patiently waiting. And it's going to be up to Avanagar to make sure that they don't give away any free, easy kills off to Otto at this point in time.
And it's definitely a huge key to success is Otto. He can be a bit inconsistent at times. So if he can start to turn through the gears to get interesting. He's had a good map so far, 7 and 4 with 100 ADR, but he's about to get pressured. He's about to get punched and pinched by Buster. Not for the first time with his peaks on mid. And able to flash them away. Adren gonna have to put down the smoke. It gets too hot to handle in window. Slight gap in there too. Hasn't seen anything though. But again, Avanagar adapting so well.
They are adapting beautifully within this round, just slowly, patiently waiting in that middle, and we're able to pounce, and now all of a sudden CR4ZY find themselves in a 3 versus 5 disadvantage, and Esperanto with a beautiful adjustment onto that window room in Adren, and it's going to be up to Buster to see if he can't retrade or refrag and really secure this round towards this middle. Only 15 seconds left in this round, Vince.
Ooh, kicker, double spray, they lined up for him. And Esperanto tries, he made through connector, has been found out of position. 3 rounds in a row now to Avanagar after that tactical timeout.
Exactly, that pause really coming in clutch for Avanagar. These adjustments in middle, we saw this in this round in particular. Avanagar re-aggressed into that mid, in a mid-round call. It was an audible, and CR4ZY were in those forward positions down in that lower mid, and they just get caught off guard. Some beautiful clean shots, and you saw Buster just quickly falling back into that ladder room, making sure he doesn't give away his death, making sure he doesn't give away the advantages that they worked so hard to get, and it just puts CR4ZY in a pickle.
It certainly did, and they're going to feel how spicy that pickle is in this round too, as they're in a position where they can't really buy. In that weird position, like, do we go half buy, do we force? What's the play? It looks like it's Deagles. Beautiful play by Kickert as well, by the way. 3 kills at the end.
We do see 2 smokes though, so it seems like CR4ZY are going to be using these 2 smokes to try to make sure that they are able to get a plant within this round, make the save round somewhat worth it. So they have put some investments into this round with those deagles and smokes.
It's very true. They're not completely out of this, and if they can get the smokes in and get up in the face of Avanagar, maybe carnage can ensue. Good counter flash lands in the eyes of multiple players. They're going to start to push in. Avanagar won't be completely against the idea of letting the plant come in if it allows them to get an easy, quick sweep retake into effect. HE through the smoke. Adren going to be looking to push through there. There is a smoke in the eyes of 2 players on connector side, and now the T's are spilling out onto the site. Emmy's up close, using those smokes as a sanctuary in between jungle and connector. But this is where the superior firepower and nade surely begins to shine for Avanagar.
Surely, but CR4ZY have already done such a spectacular job in these forward positions, really utilizing these smokes. And although it doesn't look like they're going to win this round, you know, this is really a round win as far as how much they invested. It certainly pays dividends. They are able to get that bomb down, and they're going to have a very strong buy going into this next round.
Absolutely, I think it's mission accomplished. You know, you've got the bomb down. Yes, they did expend a little bit of cash, but it's definitely worth the flow that they've got back from the bomb plant.
Definitely so. And all of a sudden, CR4ZY were up 5-0 from the start of this round, and Avanagar, as you mentioned, Vince, they've won the last 4 in a row, and this is going to be a huge round coming into this. Otto back onto that op. Let's see if he can find that opening. We saw CR4ZY slow things down 2 rounds prior. There's that smoke there. Adren, I got scared for his life there for a second.
Bit of burn, crispy damage to Emmy. There is a slight gap in this smoke, and Letty's making the most of it, seeing if he jumps up for information. If he does, he'll be looking for that headshot. He's also gathering some intel. I mean, the options are so open to CR4ZY. They've got a player on ramp, 1 around B-apps, and the bulk of their attack and the bomb is in mid. So they can switch and change on the fly.
Exactly, and in that last default that they attempted when Otto had that op, things were looking okay until Avanagar had that aggression, the mid-round call towards that mid. So we didn't really get to see what CR4ZY were going to offer on this default. So I think this round they're going to be able to get a little bit more forward. Shift's already opening things up by taking out Kickert, and Emmy is already up in the jungle.
Such aggressive plays. Buster again, though, getting so much success outside of short. 2 more kills to his name. Dren's going to hold it down from jungle. And it's gone from bad to worse for CR4ZY. Overall score doesn't look that bad, but the momentum shift is so significant.
This momentum shift indeed. I mean, we saw shifts with that opening kill towards that A bomb site, making it into a 5 versus 4 for CR4ZY, but all of a sudden, CR4ZY find themselves. It's just down to shifts. He opened up the round, and I think getting 4 kills is a little bit too much to ask of him, and certainly James just does take him out. And man, I gotta say, Buster is such an MVP right now towards this cat. His timings, his re-aggression towards that cat, towards that middle, is paying huge dividends for him. He's been getting 1 or 2 kills. That's just changed the tide of the rounds so many times already in this first half.
Absolutely. He's on 9 frags right now, but it feels like each and every one of them have been massively impactful.
It certainly has, and CR4ZY once again finding themselves on a low buy. This time around, they do have a little bit more invested behind it. A lot of flashbangs, CZ's armor coming out. It looks like this is just going to be a set piece towards this B, try to overwhelm them. And you know, they've got this op towards this B, I believe they do. So if they're able to get their timings correct, maybe overwhelm Buster in this op, they can certainly overrun them with all these pistols, but Buster getting that first clean shot is going to make things even more difficult for CR4ZY. And yeah, the set piece that they had planned just falls apart with Otto's death right there as soon as it begins. But see if Esperanto can take this duel versus a Dren towards middle here.
There was a perfect flashbang tossed in by Sanji as well after that op shot rang out, so there was no possibility of answering back. As you say, it just crumbled in front of their very eyes. Dren could be in for 2. I don't think he saw that second player, but he's going to throw a Molotov down anyway, just to be safe. And those 2 players are going to scamper their way up into connector, into the arms of James, who will not need to ask twice. He drills Emmy 2v5. They do still retain possession of the SG, so at least they have that firepower available. And Esperanto is going to show his hand. This time Buster gets peeked. But surely this is just a drop in the bucket.
And Letney finds himself in this window position with the bomb. I think if he's able to make his way into market somehow, they could do some sort of a funky B split with themselves. Oh, but it looks like they just crush onto a Dren, and Letney needs to win this 1v1 if they want a chance within this round, and Sanji just cleans it up, makes it easy for himself. And all of a sudden, after CR4ZY were up 5-0, Avanagar take the lead, and they are up now 6-5 in this round.
Indeed, and remember, this is CR4ZY's pick of map, ladies and gentlemen. Mirage was their home turf, and they are being evicted at this point from Vanguard. Still, 5 rounds on T side, not the end of the world. They can still build on this. They do have a buy to play with, and they're looking to go for some ruthless aggression through mid. They're sick and tired of allowing Buster to peek them. They're going to try and take the fight to the CTs. They're already up in the likes of jungle. Ship's going to get sprayed down. Esperanto's there for a second, spins around, nearly pivots in for a third. A 3-on-3, but Sanji is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and Otto is going to turn the rock over and toss him away. There's no smoke on CT side though, Potter. Maybe there's a way back in for Avanagar.
Kicker plays this angle so well, almost perfection, and he does take out the bomb. All of a sudden it's 2 versus 2, and Kicker gets caught out, trying to readjust, trying to find a better position for himself. Unfortunately, he does get punished, but it could be James time here, Vince. He's got the AWP, he's got full utility, a kit to boot, and the bomb has just been planted, and both these CR4ZY members are not in optimal position, so this is absolutely doable for him. He pulls out that deagle. It's all going to come down to Otto's AWP here and this clean first shot if he's able to get it. And oh, he is able to get it and secure the round for himself. But man, that got close. I fully thought James was actually going to make it into his time, but Otto does and is able to secure that round.
Absolutely. I think both players, they did have utility, but they were both so worried about a potential push. They didn't even want to risk it. They wanted to stay with their ops and pistols. But I love that CR4ZY tried to adapt as well. They were like, look, it hasn't been going very well for us. Let's just go really aggressive. Let's just push as fast as possible, and it works out for them.
It does, and it looks like we're going to see it once more coming out. Fast Palace with Letney.
Oh, the damage, though, is significant. Esperanto, who had so much success in the round gone by, tries his hand again. This time, though, Avanagar will lead by a player. And Emmy's down to just 15. There's only a flashbang between the 2 remaining Ts. Otto has taken an advanced position, though, just past connector with his AWP. We're in that same kind of position here, Potter, where, yeah, they've got the real estate, but they're not entirely sure what to do with it. And Buster is going to silence Otto, leaving Emmy alone. Kickert goes for the peak, and Avanagar regain the lead.
They do regain the lead. I like the idea coming out of Crazy, just trying to catch them off guard. As you mentioned, Vince, the round prior, they did it in middle and thought, why not? Let's do it towards that palace, see if it works again. But Avanagar were so ready for it. Their reactions bouncing off of each other, and a trend towards this connector jungle area has been pivotal for Avangar's side of things.
No doubt at all. As the flash comes out, James does take a little bit of chip damage. It is just the SG and the scout they have to worry about in terms of primaries, although there are some deagles thrown in the mix as well. Mid control prevalent again. It does feel like it's only half the struggle though on Mirage, especially when you don't have many nades. It's like getting middle's one thing, but doing anything with it's an entirely different ball game altogether.
It certainly is, and CTs and these players have just become so good at becoming efficient towards this mid and making sure they're holding the most optimal angles, and Avanagar is showing us exactly how to do that. But Crazy are trying to make this round interesting. They've already gotten the first pick in an advantageous position, and this is a wonky buy, a kind of a funky buy with a half investment, but it is looking like it might pay off for them, and James just barely misses Emmy. He is going to be able to get this bomb down and turn it into a post-plant position, but man, James, so fast.
Yeah, the missed shot did afford them the chance to plant, but Esperanto is nailing down players with the scout. His time has come to a close, and the round should follow, considering Ships only has 28 HP in a 1-on-3, and they know exactly where he is. As good as he is, as talented as this player is, that's just asking too much, and Avanagar now 8-6 in the lead.
It is asking for too much, and man, Vince, I just noticed Esperanto with 16 kills within this first half. We've been speaking about him on the desk, and he's really showing up.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Closest player on his team's on 9, that is Otto. Meanwhile, Sanji's having a hell of a performance too. He's on 15 kills, so
yeah,
he's just behind.
Sanji's been that quiet player all year long, but I think since the Dren has come in, he's really kind of highlighted Sanji, and his plays have been pivotal for Avangar's side of things. Oh, James did not catch Otto down in lower mid.
Gap in the smoke, almost betrayed Jane though, assuming that no one had already crossed. There's the peak, and Adren gets splattered by Otto. Having more impact in this round, going to open up connector control.
Really nice opening from Otto coming out with mid-aggression there, and Kickert with a beautiful spray control. He's not going to be able to follow up on that second kill, and all of a sudden Buster finds himself in lower view with that AWP, looking to try to retake, and this might be a little bit too much for him to be able to handle with just an AWP. He does have a smoke and a Molotov to try to help draw out some enemies, use that smoke for that diffuse, and there's potential, but it's looking like a really tough task. But he's gonna have to go for it. It's the last round and a half.
Yeah, and he unfortunately made noise switching across to the M4. Emmy was there waiting for him. So Avanagar, excellent comeback after being 5-0 down. We're gonna find out if they can convert after this short commercial break. It really was a story of 2 quarters, the opening half, with Crazy coming out fast off the block, but Avanagar bouncing back and actually leading at half-time on Crazy's choice. Now moving to the T side, they have some utility to play with Potter. But what are they going to go for?
Yeah, definitely so, but I think Crazy are going to be pretty satisfied with that half. 8-7 is very nice for them to start off this round, and it looks like it's going to be 3 stacked towards this B bomb site. And Avanagar do have the bomb towards here, but it looks like it's just going to be a little bit of noise, giving away free information, trying to play with the minds of the Crazy players.
Peeking slowly, it's Letney that actually takes the damage. Only sees 1 player, so that information's not really that valuable with 1 minute and 20 to play with. Meanwhile, Kickert posted up in Palace. Can lead the charge if they decide to push out quickly. Smokes are being lined up, or just the 1 smoke, I should say.
It looks like this is going to be a top connector smoke, so I expect a lot of aggression towards that jungle with these Glocks. Just power in numbers, trying to force these trades. It's going to be all up to Esperanto to make sure he gets some clean kills, tries to survive, waits for backup, because most of his team right now are towards that B-bomb site.
Ships can have a couple of things to say about this round, as he's going to go relatively untouched on the CT side. The smokes haven't quite connected where they were hoping. Esperanto is stepping ahead. 3 kills to his name, and now Ships can try and close the deal with his USP on CT. He is going to whiff out a little bit, still 13 HP, keeping them busy. And on the cross, Otto is going to thread the headshot onto Sanji and Jane. And Crazy do pick up both pistols.
Crisp, clean and easy, man. I said it, Esperanto needed to step up in that position, and he absolutely did. 3 quick kills for himself, and he really puts a huge advantage for Crazy's side of things, and his teammates absolutely followed up as well.
Oh, sure. I mean, if Esperanto gets 3 kills, but everyone else crumbles...
That would be a feels bad, man.
Exactly, it sure would. But Otto was up to the task. He didn't let the round slip away. Again, it is going to be kick up by himself. They've actually picked up a Nova. Okay. Otto.
Jumping?
Maybe that's the idea behind this. Not worked out anyway, Esperanto. Was that intentionally, you think, or was it a derpy buy?
It certainly has to be by accident, I feel. I don't know that they would have invested that much for a potential jumping Nova headshot, right? But, you know, hey, maybe, you know, 200 IQ Nova purchase, Vince?
Dying like that, I guess maybe negative 200 IQ. It definitely didn't work out for them.
Potentially. Hey, big risks with potential big rewards, perhaps, but it does look like Crazy are able to secure that round going into things. But Avanagar should be able to buy coming into this next round and make things a little bit more interesting, although Sanji might be a little bit struggling with the money, but that's okay. He's got the MAC-10. That's what he's known for. He's going to be focused on that spacing, creating openings for his teammates, and allowing those SGs and the op behind James to follow up on his aggression. And it looks like we're going to see that already coming out of James, picking off Emmy right from the get-go in the beginning of the round, and Buster to follow it up in middle with Esperanto. And I'm not sure Esperanto why he was in such a forward position all alone by himself, but looks like none of the Crazy members are able to follow up with that, and Letney is in a forward position, hiding right behind this smoke, but I have a feeling Sanji's going to do some funky business with this MAC-10.
Especially as the first kill has gone the way of Letney. That's the bomb dropping as well. They're going to be moving into the choke point. He's done so much damage. Adren survives on 2 HP. Nearly pulls off the miracle. The rabbit out the hat, 2-on-2. 2 players exceptionally low, but the bomb has been retrieved and is now making moves. And because all that happened in such a quick amount of time, there's still a minute to play with.
There is a full minute to play with, but man, Letney, such a huge play to get themselves back into this round, but unfortunately, it's still a 2v2, and we know with a full minute left within the round, Vince, it's still in Avanagar's favor. They've got the bomb. The only thing is Adren is a little bit low. It looks like Kickert is going to be throwing some distractions towards this B as Avanagar holds on to that A aggression. And they're going to try to probably end up meeting towards that A, but I'm afraid they're overthinking this just slightly here, Vince. Unless Kickert is able to make it into market and somehow flank Ships, but there's only 30 seconds now left within the round, and Adren is so far away from his teammate. And this is kind of what we were talking about yesterday, is the fact that Avanagar's teamwork is so pretty, so beautiful to watch, but sometimes overthinking, you can kind of see it happening, and it does tend to punish them here and there, but it's all going to be up to Adren here. If he dies here with the bomb, it's going to be so impossible for Avanagar to recover. And yeah, with 5 seconds left, Kickert is not going to be able to do anything within this round.
You can almost see the cogs and the wheels turning in their minds, but as you say, they just ended up bamboozling themselves.
Yeah, bamboozling indeed. And as I mentioned, in a 2 versus 2 scenario with a full minute left within the round, it's always going to be the T advantage. You know, that bomb, it does become a teammate once it's planted. And generally speaking, the defenders have to spread out. They have to keep an eye with that zone defense on both bomb sites. So if they just stick together, force a trade, plant the bomb, they are already in an advantage on all cylinders. So it is a little bit curious, but this is, you know, we heard the coach of Avanagar speaking about it. This is their play style. This is what they're comfortable with. And this type of play is what they're practiced, you know. And playing on a LAN server in a tournament exactly how you practice, producing that and executing it, it's a part of the game.
Absolutely, and it typically yields the best results too. Not completely going off radar and playing to his strength. No way forward, Crazy, much better purchase. Avanagar have gone all in. 3 rifles. Jane thinking better of peeking through mid. Doesn't have the AWP, of course. Interestingly here though, Potter, Crazy having absolutely no mid presence at all. They are far more positioned back and trying to play aggressively on A.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to try to utilize that AWP on auto towards that CT spawn. We've got a crossfire, a nice little under-bow closet crossfire coming out of Esperanto. These guys are just going to be very patient, allow the Ts to try to make space on that Opera and CT spawn and see if they can't catch anyone off guard. But this connector split is going to make it a pickle because Esperanto in that closet position, he's going to be looking left, right, above him. There's going to be a lot of places for him to put his crosshair, and he's going to have to be precise.
This is where Otto could also come into play, but they could end up getting smoked out. Chips, Molotov underneath him. Esperanto does flick to the head, does a lot of damage to Adren. Down to just a measly 14 HP. Grenades are raining in, and so is Kicker with kills. Basking in the glory with his SG. Player advantage suddenly becomes all even. But this is where the bomb plant does become that teammate, as you highlighted. And they need it with Adren being so low. They've only got the one smoke to play with at this stage. There's an incendiary for Emmy, and he's lining up towards Firebox. No one's home from the T's. They still have one residing behind the triple box. As Emmy starts to dart forward, they're both on the same side. They're going to be checking into Shadow. Nearly works against them. Buster's got the first one. He's looking to try and claim the frag onto Leslie, who comes through and connects the headshot. Buster culminates the carnage.
Adren looks over towards Buster and just like, yes, that is my teammate indeed. And what a beautiful play coming out of Buster. He's just waiting for that sound cue. And you can see a sliver where the name pops up. And right then, with the quick reactions, he just wall bangs them. Beautiful play coming out of Buster. And man, this round was so very close, Vince. It was so close, just coming down to that 1 versus 1.
Yeah, economy is in rough shape for the CTs. So far, I'd say the game's been delivering, though. It's been enjoyable.
It certainly has, and another timeout, this time coming out of the Crazy side of things. And it's a good time for them to call this timeout. I think their economy is lacking. They're going to have to figure out exactly what they're going to want to do. I think with this purchase that we see coming out of Crazy, they're going to have a game plan following up behind it, because with this weaponry, it's going to be extremely hard to win 1v1 duels.
That's a good point, especially with smoke starting to come down. Crazy may feel like they have to play aggressive, hence the peek onto short. Hasn't really yielded anything. James did fire out a warning shot. Good flashbang. Teammate gets in his way a little bit.
Yeah, an uncharacteristic miss coming out of James there. Unable to open up the round, but man, they find themselves in this forward position, Kickered in this ladder. Otto is unable to follow up on that kill. That smoke just barely kind of not allowing him to fully see Kickered there. But yeah, Avanagar already have so much map control, and with so much time left in the round, it's just becoming more and more difficult for Crazy, and it looks like it's just going to turn into this B split. It's all going to come down to Esperanto's Eagle. Already opening it up with one, and oh, I saw that too happening. But unfortunately, James does follow it up, and yeah, it looks like this is just going to be a simple post-plat scenario. Crazy are not going to be able to make this retake happen, I don't think. It's a very tall order here, Vince.
Oh, no doubt about it. No nades, no kits. And again, with their economy in rough shape, these are vital. And valuable weapons that they have, an AUG, an MP9, armor behind it with a 5.7, they can still go in for the next round and have a half-decent buy to potentially break the back of a Vanguard once again. Don't throw this away.
Definitely so, and Adren sniffing the air, trying to find out exactly where these crazy guys are to make that money with that SMG. And I gotta say, Avanagar always have the one member, either it be Sanji or Adren, or even sometimes Kicker on that MAC-10, just focused on, laser focused on making it into the site, making space and opening up the site for James, opening up the site for Buster. And I really like this type of philosophy coming out of Avanagar. We spoke about it on the desk. They are known for their teamwork. They are so ride or die, Vince.
That's how they've been playing so far, absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely fit into that mantra. And it seems like they're starting to go more on the ride side. Not quite the death part of it just yet. Meanwhile, Crazy, they don't decide to buy behind the save weapons and the Kevlar. Playing for the bigger picture.
Definitely so, and one of the big differences between both of these halves so far is Avanagar almost had every round being a gun round, you know? Avanagar known for that, known for very much controlling their economy. The James time meme coming because he's always saving his weapon, but that's exactly that, is Avanagar just understand exactly how to put themselves in positions to try to buy every round to have the best chance at winning that round. And Crazy are struggling a little bit to buy those weapons. Their economy has been struggling thus far in the second half.
What a shot by James. Mid-air, Clay Pigeon shooting, takes the head off Otto. Dispatches him instantly. Thinning out the herd as well onto A. At the moment, Ships has been forced back on the CT boxes. Here comes the smokes. Locking off jungle, locking off connector. He is waiting for that peak to come into play. This is where the SG can be so deadly. Even on 13 HP, he could hold the line. First kill goes to Ships. There's not going to be a second one to follow up. But with him focusing the attention towards him, it's allowed Esperanto to get into close enough proximity, and he's starting to connect some headshots here. It's down to Buster again. He's already pulled out one rabbit out the hat. He's going to have to go one better. He has enough time, and the bomb is in a retrieval position. Neither him or Letney have any smokes to play with, but there is a flash by his side. Firepower-wise, certainly favoring Buster additionally, as Letney only has a 5.7.
And Buster just trying to make sure that Letney is not going to be in that close quarter position towards the CT spawn, but Buster has no idea where Letney is. With only 9 seconds left, and he does spot him, he's going to be forced to plant here. No! Unfortunately, the mind games gets to Buster, and Letney comes out on top of that. And yeah, with just 6 seconds left, I think Buster could have probably planted the bomb there. But unfortunately, he just assumed that Letney was going to charge at him as soon as he heard that noise, heard the plant going. But Letney winning out on the mind games there.
And Ships just did so much work. Getting a kill, but also stalling them to allow Esperanto and the rest of the team to start pushing those smokes was such an integral part of the round. I think at the end, Buster was probably worried. He's cognizant they had pistols. And in that kind of situation, if you let the bomb get planted at medium range, you're kind of screwed. Buster's also shown off that very site, he has the wallbang spots down as well. So just such a good mind game at the end.
He certainly does. And Crazy kind of recollecting themselves. We just saw them winning that round, and it looks like they've probably controlled the economy, put it back into their own favor. And those double ops coming out once more for the Crazy side of things. We've been seeing it all half long. And Esperanto this time with the op instead of Ships.
And there you have it. Nade into the app. So many flashbangs. The snowstorm has descended. Finally, Emmy's eyes have cleared, and he clears a path with the M4 onto Buster. James answers back, but it's Emmy repositioning, relocating. James got himself 2 already. He's the last line of hope for a Vanguard, and Crazy have put him down with authority. 12-10 lead.
Wow, what a solid round coming out of Emmy, the full-time coach turned full-time player, coming in with a beautiful behold. It's that first kill that's always the hardest. Once you get that first clean kill, you're able to readjust, reposition, put yourself in an advantageous position. And he almost got 3. He got 2.5 kills there. And that is exactly how a behold should go. And yeah, he puts himself in a really good spot for Crazy. Because now Avanagar's money is looking dicey here, Vince.
Oh, it really is. They do have an AK, and Sanji gets bought down to $50. The raid boss is in effect. Esperanto so very close to finding Sanji through that smoke. It just started to clear. Some grenades starting to be tossed in. James is quite a long way behind though, and he's the AK-wielding player, so this is more of a fake, it would seem. I'm not sure if Avanagar are mind-gaming themselves.
You know, they do like to do this. I think Avanagar have had one rifle and pistols in majority of their eco rounds that they've had so far, and I think James is just going to be on a hunting mission. He's the lone wolf here. He's just going to be trying to open up the round, win his duel, draw attention towards them, towards this middle. Let the enemies think that, hey, there's no way he's alone, right? But we know he's alone, Vince.
We have the benefit of having all the information. Crazy going off a call, off a read, flick across. Esperanto hasn't seen a second player peek him just yet, but now Buster makes his presence known. James has made a move into the connector side. He is the last hope once again. The bomb gets sprawled out. Esperanto is not missing. Lots of damage, 4 kills to his name, and Crazy move one step closer to victory.
So that's why Esperanto had the op this round instead of Ships. No, but Ships is absolutely a proficient opera, but Esperanto coming up huge once more with that A-hold. James had such an amazing timing opening towards that jungle, and I thought, oh, this is where Avanagar are going to overwhelm Crazy, but Esperanto, once again, 30 kills, Vince, in this game so far.
Not going to get a 31st. James denies him of that, but yeah, what a performance. Ships going to be able to hold it down with Emmy. Both of them chip in for kills. The A site has been defended momentarily. The timing, he wasn't expecting another player in ramp, and Buster will make the most of that lapse in concentration. Emmy perched up on the staircase. Smoke's going to be landing around him. He'll be anticipating a potential flash here, so he doesn't want to peek too aggressively. Molotov tossed in by Otto, keeping the terrorists isolated from one another, one of which is on Tetris, and Otto takes the head off Buster. They still can't move in. Grenades are raining down. Avanagar are just being completely outplayed.
They certainly are, and you saw Sanji take a look at that HE grenade, look, just dogging it, wondering why did you do so much damage to me? But he is rewarded for all the damage that he took. All of a sudden, he finds himself with an A4 and the bomb, running quickly towards that B bomb site, and this might be exactly what they needed, but no. Otto knows he's not going to get outplayed, or is he going to get outplayed here?
I thought at first he was trying to make the jump to go B.
I think he missed, and then he said, you know what, let me make it look like I wanted to go connector all along.
Just smooth.
Yep.
No one will notice. Unfortunately for him, though, the bomb has been planted on B, and now Sanji able to relocate up into the ups. There is a smoke, a flashbang, and a kit. Otto could try and draw him out into the open. He has a P250 as a sidearm as well if things get a little bit too hot and heavy and close. He's going to be checking all of his angles on the approach, giving himself enough time to get this bomb defused. This is where the smoke and flash should be coming into play. He's checked all the possible angles on the site. Tap the bomb, draw out Sanji. He's given his position away. What a shot! That is ridiculous, but I'm not sure he has the time. He deserved it after that shot onto Sanji. But it is going to go the way of Avanagar all the same.
Wow, that was really well played. I think if he had just a little bit more time, man, he would have won that round. But Sanji in such an advantageous position to be able to plant the bomb, get up into that B tunnel and just hide. Wait for the sound cues to come through, and he played it to perfection.
Especially as Sanji was solo, but this shot is so sick. Sanji hopping out, just making sure that if he was still perched on the side, he get the stabs in effect. Well played in the end, but this game just keeps giving.
It certainly is, and man, I think both teams are feeling the pressure coming into this matchup so far here, Vince. We're seeing a lot of pauses. We're seeing these players really discussing with each other. I mean, you hardly see James talking this much very often.
That is true. I suppose the other side of that is they're often in a pretty solid position themselves. They've been definitely feeling the pressure being applied. Double AWPs in play. This does leave Esperanto low and not too much utility. Otto is watching for the push through the smoke. Nothing is coming up just yet. Avanagar going back into a slow, steady approach.
Esperanto so far has 123, nearly 124 ADR events so far in this matchup. So he's certainly just been so impactful so far. And we're only on map 1 in this series so far.
Yeah, he is balling out of control right now. Closest player to him is on 20, and that's James. He is head and shoulders above everybody else.
Indeed, and one concerning thing I have to say for Avangar's side is although they've had some really nice set pieces, some really nice rounds, it just does seem like all of their buys so far in the second half have been a little bit wonky, you know? A lot of SMGs coming out, pistols, random AKs, and so they haven't been able to have a full purchase with all 5 members on those advantageous guns, but it looks like it's going to be a fast cat play. They are able to trade out Emmy, and it's all going to be up to Adren and Buster here. Take out Letney, and it looks like Sanji comes up huge and already in a 4 versus 3 advantageous position in a post plant. And this is going to be so tough for Otto and Crazy to be able to retake into this round. And yeah, it looks like they're just going to give up into it and go ahead and try to save and go into the next round, which is, you know, it's okay. They're up 13 to 12. They'll be up 13 to 12 and give themselves another chance going into this next round here.
Absolutely. You have to feel that Letney's bitterly disappointed he missed that op shot on short. That could have really changed the dynamic of the round in favor of Crazy. But at least they managed to save one up, assuming that Otto doesn't get found. It does look likely. He's on CT boxes. No one's close to him.
Yeah, and as soon as I mentioned those, the lack of the guns, it looks like they just used the power numbers once more. They understand they don't have the weapons to be winning 1v1 duels, so they just pack up together towards that cat, overwhelm the defense of Crazy, and it works out for them with the simple B split.
So Crazy have decisions to make again. Losing that third player and the Kevlar behind it kind of forces their hand to just tap out. Otto tries to flick in for a kill. Not going to happen. Adren turning up the pace. Already taking short. Simultaneously, connector has been locked off. They're not sure if maybe a window boost is coming into play. The aggression here from Avanagar is staggering.
It really is. They're already up cat. Again, a minute and a half left within the round. And with the type of guns towards this B bomb site, this should be fairly easy for Avanagar to be able to poke and prod towards this B, figure out where your enemies are, and just kind of out-aim them at this point with the lack of firepower behind Crazy coming into this round specifically.
They've gone for a stack onto B site, and the bomb is still moving in B apps. It has slowed down. Maybe they're going to think better of this. They can still wrap into underpass, but I do fear the worst for Avanagar. If they push B, they are walking into so many bodies, but Crazy have second-guessed themselves. They're moving 2 players through kitchen.
The mind games coming out of Avanagar, such aggression in the beginning of the round, and all of a sudden they just quiet down. Everyone stays silent. It confuses Crazy a little bit. They're wondering if they may have gone back towards A, but no, indeed, they are going to be hitting towards this B, and they're all here. Everyone on Crazy's side, besides Otto. Oh, and he does get taken out, and Ships, this is too much to ask of him. He's just going to try to get a gun for himself here to take it into the next round with this MP9 and hopefully make himself some money here.
Yeah, that's really the best case scenario. But unfortunate, when they moved out of position, they were always going to be in a tenuous situation once the Molotovs and flashes started to fire in. They mollied off all the key angles. Ships, try as he may, will not get the better of Sanji at that range against the SG. He picks up his 3rd kill. There's some exquisite nades tossed in on the likes of Van back on bench, just making sure none of those pesky angles were occupied by CTs, and then just a systematic shutdown on the B site.
Exactly. I really liked that slowdown coming out of Avanagar. You know, they were able to gain a lot of real estate early on into that round, and they're like, wait a minute, where are these guys? And trying to poke and prod and figure out exactly where the stack was going to be coming from Crazy. And although they did have majority of their members towards that B, they were able to cleanly take it. And now, once again, we see Crazy with the full purchase here. Let's see if this is the round where Crazy start to regain their momentum.
It certainly has been slipping away. 3 rounds, 3 round sprees. 3 to Crazy, 3 back to Avanagar. Maybe they can continue the pattern going in their direction. Definitely going to have to be fighting an uphill struggle, though, if they do pull this off. Emmy in ladder, not perched up on the ladder itself. Meanwhile, Otto's just to his right-hand side in the window. Esperanto takes some early damage. He's been forced out of connector. They're just slowly wrapping themselves and constricting mid-control. Otto really wanted to go for that peak, but he's been smoked out as well.
This double ladder might catch Buster off guard if he's able to get a clean kill onto Emmy. There's no way he's going to expect a second member there, but Looks like Emmy does whiff just a little bit, but that readjustment, repositioning is so strong coming out of Emmy, and Letney to back him up. That was a beautiful play towards that cat. I love that teamwork. And they even had a third member to boot just in case things did hit the fan. And it's really going to come down to Sanji and his lurk towards this B tunnels. Let's see if he's able to actually get anything done. But with 2 defenders already here, this is a tall order indeed.
Almost seems impossible. And Avanagar, with Kicker going back into the backside of the apps, it seems like they've already decided that they're going to tap out of this round. They don't want any part of it. So CR4ZY going to regain the lead again. It looked like it was slipping out of their fingers on their choice, but they are going to battle until the bitter end. We are going the distance here on Mirage.
We certainly are, and it was a very clean round coming out of CR4ZY. A lot of good teamwork, nice bait and switches coming out for them in that ladder. They even had a third member there, Vince, just in case they weren't able to get all the kills that they wanted. And so, insurance plan, a backup plan, and it really worked out for them.
So how do Avanagar bounce back? 3 players, 20 or above. Esperanto slowed down a little bit, but the rest of his team has helped, and the smoke bounces off his head. Still gonna... In fact, did that connect into window properly? I think there's a gap in there for Otto to potentially exploit. Yeah, there is.
Oh. He's helped out Otto by accident, by hitting the smoke.
Headed it away. And Otto, so far, has been able to capitalize on that. There's another smoke being deployed. Otto goes for the speculative shot, not going to connect. And Avanagar mixing it back up, going back towards the A side. They started off the half hitting here consistently. Got repelled pretty often.
Yeah, I think A ramp players just going to try to get contact, and 3 players are going to kind of waterfall out of Palace here. But that Molotov is really going to make it very difficult for Avanagar. And Emmy, what a beautiful play for him coming out from under balcony. Really solid A-hold coming out of CR4ZY, starting from that middle and going all the way back to this A bomb site. They just made it so difficult for Avanagar to find any openings within this round.
Yeah, I mean, it was a waterfall of lava with Molotovs landing all over Palace, and now James is going to try and see if he can maybe take some players with him. But of course, there's a mean for a reason, albeit, to be fair to him, he's just a very conservative player. He knows when he's beaten.
James time.
Not going to be allowed to happen from Emmy. His reputation preceded him.
He was kind of staring into the wall there, Vince.
Maybe playing anti-flash? I'm not entirely sure. But they have 2 map points on their choice. CR4ZY are very, very close to taking us 1-0.
They are indeed, and once again, Avanagar coming down to a little bit of a wonky purchase with that Galil and SMG coming in, but this is still a strong purchase with those 2 SGs, and Buster trying to lead the way towards that mid. And James, nice opening on Esperanto, but he gets caught with his smoke out. And again, Sanji gets caught with his smoke out. That's certainly not what you want to see, but thank God Buster was there to help back him up. And it looks like, let's see if Letney is able to get anything with this cap boost with that AWP. But no, Avanagar is just going to fall right back, pick up that bomb, and it looks like they're just going to contact play out towards this upper B tunnel. And it's going to come down to Emmy once more. Is he going to be able to get that first clean kill and slow down this B hit?
Oh, that nade just ripped through so many players. And Emmy is joined by Letney this time around. Otto is putting down the pain elsewhere. Tags being exchanged. The terrorists are so very low at this point. Otto is actually going to start to move back. He's read this perfectly. He's a step ahead of the T's. They try to wrap into underpass. They could still turn back if they decide, but Otto is already going to be on the CT boxes.
We're seeing the split once more here, Vince, with the 2 members of Avanagar splitting up a bit. And with 30 seconds remaining, it's going to be curious if Adren does a double back towards that upper B tunnel and reconnects with Kickert. Okay, this is going to be a B split, and oh no, Kickert peaks just a little too early. This forces Adren to have to try to go towards this A, but as you mentioned, Vince, Otto's already here.
And that will be map going to CR4ZY, their choice of Mirage, a successful pick. And Avanagar backs against the wall, one of the favorites in this tournament to win the entire thing. If they lose one more map, they're out.
And you can see how hyped Neil is, the hype man behind the team of Crazy. They're very satisfied with that win, and as they should be. That first half started off with a dominant performance coming out of Crazy, and then all of a sudden, Avanagar were able to claw their way back in.
So Avanagar really battling up against the Storm. From 5-0 to in the lead, but weren't able to convert when all the chips were on the table. So the question really on everyone's mind now is, can Avanagar bounce back? Can they take their choice of map? Can they take us the distance? Or are we going to have a bit of an upset?
You know, I think we're going to be seeing 3 maps here, Vince. I'm excited. I hope so.
I really hope so too, because I think this game is definitely delivered more so than I was maybe expecting.
Yeah.
I think some people have expected this to be a fairly clear-cut win for Avanagar, but not the case. That being said, though, we are going to head to a quick commercial break before the next map does start.